Namaskaram. Myself Vikas Kumar Shakya. I welcome you all on my channel Vishwaguru, and we are going to start the playlist of Bhagavad Gita in this channel in English language. So there will be number of playlists basically related to every chapter. For every chapter, we will create one playlist, and that will be in the English language. And before starting the actual Bhagavad Gita, the actual verses of the Bhagavad Gita, which we will start from the chapter number 13, and I will let you know why I will start from chapter 13. Before we start the actual Bhagavad Gita, we are going to have some basic understanding around Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so that is what I'm going to discuss it in the today's video, and there will be a separate playlist for basic understanding on Bhagavad Gita, and I will explain you like why I would like to start from chapter number 13. On the same channel, you can see if you know the Hindi language, you will be able to see there are different playlists for Bhagavad Gita's chapters from chapter number 1 till chapter number 18. You can see different playlists, and all those playlists are available in Hindi language. So if you understand Hindi language, you can go there and you can watch all those videos, and you will definitely get benefit from it. That is sure. And let me tell you that if you are with me and on this channel, if you are going to understand the Bhagavad Gita using this playlist, referring these playlists, then obviously you will get some benefit, right? In case you are not feeling comfortable understanding Bhagavad Gita, reading Bhagavad Gita, then in that case, with the grace of God, I may be able to help you because it's all because of the God. It's not me. It's all a kind of motivation which came to me, and because of that, I have started Bhagavad Gita in this manner. I decided to start Bhagavad Gita in this manner, right? So it's all because of that, supreme energy, supreme power, who is known as God, who is known as Lord Krishna, who is known as Lord Rama, who is known as Lord Parashurama, who is known as Narsimha. So he's the one who is the motivator for all of us. If you try to read Bhagavad Gita, if you are devoted, and if you have the craving to understand what is Bhagavad Gita, what is God, right? So in that case, it simply means that you are motivated by that supreme power. There is nothing about you, there is nothing in you when you are moving spiritually ahead in your life. It's all the motivation by the God. And we will understand how he motivates, how the motivation comes from the God. God is nothing but the supreme energy. You know that everything is in this universe is energy, right? If you understand this basic concept that everything in this universe is the energy, then that particular energy is known as the Chetana in spiritual language, especially in the in India, in Indian scriptures, that is known as the Chetana, right? That is known as the supreme consciousness, energy. All the things can be used interchangeably, right? If you have to understand, then this particular concept you must need to keep in your mind. And slowly, as we will move along in these playlists, you will be able to understand that how these things are helping you to understand each and every verse of the Bhagavad Gita, right? So before we start the Bhagavad Gita verses, the understanding on the Bhagavad Gita of different chapters, I would like you to have some basic concept around the Bhagavad Gita. And for that, I have planned to create a playlist having at least 2 to 3 videos which explains like what is Bhagavad Gita, why why you should read it, and why not everyone can read it, why not everyone can understand it, right? So let us start with the basic concepts. So let me start with the Bhagavad Gita introduction. So Bhagavad Gita is also known as the Gita Upanishad. If you are aware about the Upanishads, then Upanishads are also known as the Vedanta, right? They are the part of the Vedanta, right? So Upanishad are the part of the Vedantas. Whatever Bhagavad Gita explains, all those things have been explained in detail in Upanishads, various Upanishads. They have been, they have been explained. Or you can say whatever Bhagavad Gita explains, the exploration, or you can say the elaboration of all those concepts that Lord Krishna has explained. All those concepts has been elaborated in the different Upanishads. Bhagavad Gita is also known as Gita Upanishad because of that reason only. It is the crux of all the Upanishads, right? We will understand what the Upanishads are in the coming videos, right? But you just understand that Upanishads are the part of the Vedas. Whatever written in Vedas, to understand those concepts, the Upanishads have been created. You know that every language has a grammar, right? So whatever has been written in Veda, that has a grammar, right? So that grammar is also there. And also, whatever has been written in Vedas, that also has a different kind of grammar, which is known as the philosophical grammar. You want to understand the philosophy behind whatever has been written, then in that case, you must need to understand that particular grammar as well. And that particular grammar is the language of Upanishads, or you can say whatever has been explained in Upanishads, that becomes the grammar to understand the philosophy, whatever has been written in our scriptures. So I hope you must have understood the concept of Gita Upanishad, why it is called as Gita Upanishad. It is the essence of all Upanishads. If you are starting Bhagavad Gita and if you have the interest in the scriptures, Indian scriptures, and you have at least studied few of the Upanishads, then in that case, if you have read these Upanishads, which are written here, like Mandukya Upanishad, the Mundaka Upanishad, the Kena Upanishad, the Prashna Upanishad. Basically, these three are the very important Upanishads. If you have understood these Upanishads, if you have read these Upanishads, then obviously you will be able to understand the Bhagavad Gita comparatively better, in compared to others. Right? Compared to others, you will be able to understand Bhagavad Gita easily, provided you have understood, not only read these Upanishads, but you have also understood to some extent with the help of some guru, with the help of some, able teacher. If you have understood all these concepts that have been explained in Upanishads, then only you will be able to make yourself eligible to understand the Bhagavad Gita easily, right? You can also I mean, it's not all about like who is able to understand these Upanishads. He can only understand all these concepts. No, this is only for those who want to understand Bhagavad Gita as a subject. They think that Bhagavad Gita is a subject, is something where the knowledge is there, and yes, there is knowledge, right? But that particular knowledge is not necessarily needed to go through this path. If you are a true devotee, then also without reading these things, all whatever you are going to understand after reading these things, if you are a devotee, all those things you will be able to understand without reading these things, if you are a true devotee, right? So the devotion is the main thing. All these concepts we are going to discuss in the coming videos, but as of now, I'm just whatever I'm telling you, just keep in your mind, right? We are going to discuss all these things later on. So Mandukya Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, and Kena Upanishad, if you know these three Upanishads, then in that case it will be easier for you to understand Bhagavad Gita. And if you have understood this, particular Upanishad, which is known as the Prashna Upanishad, then it's good to have, right? If you understand this, if you have read this Upanishad, which is known as the Prashna Upanishad, then it's good to have. It's not necessary, but yes, if you have read these three Upanishads, then in that case you will be really, they will really help you to understand Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so even if you have not studied this Upanishads, then I'm not going to tell you that first read these Upanishads and then come to these videos or then read Bhagavad Gita. No, I am creating these videos. The purpose of creating these videos on Bhagavad Gita is that we can connect all these things, why you need to understand this thing, why you need to know these things, why you need to understand Upanishads as well. And with reference to Bhagavad Gita, you will understand all these things in these playlists. Okay, so I already told you that whatever explained in the Bhagavad Gita, all those things, all those things have been explained in detail. They have been elaborated in detail in various Upanishads. Okay, so I hope till now you are clear. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay. And now let's move ahead and let us understand what are the parts of the Bhagavad Gita. So, Bhagavad Gita is basically divided into three parts. There are 18 chapters in Bhagavad Gita. Overall, 18 chapters are there in Bhagavad Gita. From chapter number 1 to chapter number 6, there is a philosophical part of Bhagavad Gita. All the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita has been explained in this philosophical part from chapter number 1 to chapter number 6. And that too in chapter number 2, that particular chapter is full of philosophy. The entire philosophy, or you can say the summary of entire Bhagavad Gita, is in chapter number 2 at a philosophical level. Okay. So, philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, or you can say the philosophy of Sanatana Dharma, is from chapter number 1 to chapter number 6 of Bhagavad Gita. That is the philosophical part. Then comes the psychological development part. This is from chapter number 7 to chapter number 12. Psychological development means, let me give you a simple example. When you start your, studies, and if you have to study about science, you don't, you can't do the philosophy or you can't do the, a PhD directly. You must need to first understand the concepts of science, right? For example, the science, in physics, you can understand the concept of thermodynamics. And once the concepts of physics, or you can say the science, are clarified to you, you are very well aware about them. Then after that, you start developing your psychology in that subject. Psychology means you are capable to give the reasoning of certain scientific events, certain events which are taking place in this nature. So that is known as the reasoning capability. And that comes only when you have developed a psychology for that subject. Or you can say you have developed the psychology for the science, right? Then only, you will be able to explain the reasons. You will be able to understand the reasoning behind various incidents. So, in case of Bhagavad Gita, that psychological development portion is from chapter number 7 to chapter number 12. Now, the third part is the science of the Vedas or the science of the Sanatana religion. That is from the chapter number 13 to chapter number 18. So, all the science of Bhagavad Gita is from chapter number 13 to chapter number 18 of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So, these are the three different parts of Bhagavad Gita. Now let me tell you, how to start this. Before I tell you how to start this, we must need to discuss few things around this, that how to start, right? Why this question comes, how to start? See, chapter number 1 till chapter number 18, many people try to understand this. Many people try to learn this Bhagavad Gita from chapter number 1 to chapter number 18. But let me tell you, if you want to start from chapter number 1 and would like to go till chapter number 18, then in that case, there are certain prerequisites. The first prerequisite is that you should be a pure devotee like Arjuna. If you are a pure devotee like Arjuna, then in that case, you can start from chapter number 1. And how the Arjuna was pure devotee? Why I am saying that Arjuna was pure devotee? Because he did complete surrender when he was in the battlefield. Then in that case, when he was trying to explain Lord Krishna that why he cannot fight this war, what are those things, which are troubling him and stopping him to fight this war, to wage this war, all those things he explained to Lord Krishna. But after explaining and trying to, escape from the war, even after that, he was having that kind of consciousness that at some point I'm wrong, at some point I'm taking a wrong, initiative, that I will not wage this war, I'm not going to fight this war. So that is why he didn't just ran away. He just sit in front of the Lord Krishna and he surrendered everything. He surrendered his knowledge. What all he surrendered? He surrendered his knowledge. If you will read chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita, then in that case you will be able to understand that even if you don't read the Bhagavad Gita chapter number 1, then at some point of time you might have seen Mahabharata in, on television, right? So if you see those episodes where Arjuna is trying to explain that why I cannot fight this war, after that, when he is surrendering, when he is sitting in front of Lord Krishna, that I cannot fight this war, please enlighten me, please give me some give me some solution, please tell me what should I do. But before doing this, he has surrendered everything. Whatever knowledge he had, whatever he was explaining to Lord Krishna, that also went into vain. He said that I cannot do anything, I am not able to understand anything, whatever I know, that is also of no use, I cannot do this war. He surrendered his bow, arrow, all the armors he placed in the feet of Lord Krishna. This is the pure devotion where you have not only surrendered yourself as a disciple to understand some concepts or understand to or to gain some knowledge, but you have surrendered your entire existence, your knowledge, your traditional understanding, whatever traditions you have followed since the birth of since you took since your birth, whatever done with you, and after that whatever you learnt as a tradition, as a trend in the society, whatever you did, all those things, all those things are the part of your existence. They all encompass to make you. All your understanding on the traditions, all your understanding on your own religion, all your understanding and all your ego about your knowledge, that encompasses inside you. That is you. This body is not you. That very thing that makes you, with your thoughts, with your knowledge, with all your faith, all those things encompass you. That is you. So if you surrender you in the feet of Lord Krishna, then you will be, you will be considered to have done the complete surrender. Otherwise, there is no complete surrender. Can you do this? Are you in such situation? Do you have this? All these things, do you possess? The answer is, or maybe no. Maybe and may not be. It may be no. It may be yes. If yes, then in that case, it's very good. You can start from chapter number 1 and just keep reading it. But let me tell you that people start reading Bhagavad Gita from chapter number 1. They reach to chapter number 2, and until they reach to the chapter number 4, all their enthusiasm, fumes away. Why this happens? All these things we are going to understand. Why this happens with them, right? So this is the thing which happens. You could have your own logic, you could have your own questions, you could have your own prejudiced thoughts that why I should accept this. And that is why you cannot be completely surrendered. If you don't have these things, then you may be surrendered. In that case, you can start reading from chapter number 1. You can do anything. You can understand Bhagavad Gita with the help of any guru, with the help of any teacher, right? But yes, these things hardly happens, right? Let me tell you a very small incident from Mahabharata. Before the war started, Lord Krishna went to Duryodhana, and he tried to explain Duryodhana that why are you doing so? And you are the student of Dronacharya. You know what is dharma, what is righteousness, and you know what is adharma, which means what is wrong. You know all the right and wrong. You have been taught everything, and you have taken the birth, and you took birth in Bharat clan, that particular clan which is very much famous for its right deeds. So why are you doing these things? Don't you think that you are on the wrong path? Don't you think that you can do the right thing? All these things were explained by Lord Krishna to Duryodhana. But you know what Duryodhana said? Duryodhana said Janami dharmam nachme pravritti, janami adharmam nachme nivritti. I have told this in Sanskrit. So he said that the translation is that, O Lord, O Krishna, I know what is right, I know what is dharma, right, and I know what is adharma, right. I know what is right, but I cannot move on to that path which is right. I know what is adharma, which means I know what is wrong, but I cannot stop myself to be on that path. So this was the answer of Duryodhana. So these are the things. If you see these lines by Duryodhana, you may not be able to see any kind of ego, right? He is explaining very, openly. Whatever happens to us, whatever happens to you, whatever had happened to me in my life, right? All these things happen to everyone. We know, but we can't stop ourselves. This is the last hurdle. If you know, but you can't stop yourself, and you become prejudiced that yes, this happens to everyone. No one can stop his anger. No one can stop himself to be, you know, no one can stop himself to be attracted towards some kind of worldly affairs, some kind of temptations. When you become prejudiced, then in that case as well, you cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. In fact, you are not the right person. You are not the, right. You don't have the right mind. You don't have the right soul to understand Bhagavad Gita, right? So that is why many people face many difficulties understanding Bhagavad Gita. So in coming videos, we will understand that what is the solution for this, what kind of solution we can, what is the new thing we can try if these are the problems. So that we will discuss in the coming videos. But before I close this video, let me tell you that this will be a separate playlist, and this separate playlist will give you the prerequisites before you read any chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So all these things that we have explained, like the story of Lord Krishna and Duryodhana when he tried to explain him the right and wrong, that also you can experience very well in your life. You can experience in yourself, you can experience in others as well. So what to do, how to start, that is what the purpose of the next video is. And the title of that video will be We Can Try This Way. So there will be a different way. I'm not telling you that that different way is a formula or that is written somewhere in the Vedas or Puranas or anywhere. No, that's only my experience which I'm sharing with all of you. How I understood it, how I got motivated, and how I got something which explained, which explains that why whatever I thought looks logical to me. I'm not telling that this is the right way. I'm just telling this is another way. This is a way. This is not the way. This is a way, right? This is one of the ways you can read, you can start Bhagavad Gita. So that is what is that way? What is that way method, or you can say what is that uh, what is that path? What could be that path you can follow to understand Bhagavad Gita? That we are going to discuss in the coming video, in the next video. So till then, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Shri Ram. Have a nice day and bye bye.